Hello, Forensic Networkers. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Topic today is something you've heard probably a few times. And in my 28 years in MLM, I've also heard it multiple times coming from different people. So we're going to give us one more minute. Make sure that everyone is, just text blast everyone. You got 60 more seconds. Hello, Leah. 60 seconds to get on this Forensic Live. The topic is something that comes up all the time if you've ever done MLM. So how do, you get, someone says, I'm not active because my upline is not active. That doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, I quit because nobody in my business I know around me, my uplines, they all quit. So, which is of course never true, but that's what it seems like. Hello, Sada. Hello, Nana. As usual, your name, your time zone, where you're calling from. Let's tell the world, be very proactive, interactive with each other. Something that you get an awakening on, throw some hearts, and so everyone knows that you got an awakening there. If you have an experience of your own, you want to share that after these Forensic Lives are over. I like to see a bunch of interaction. I read all of it because we can teach each other, learn from each other's experiences. All right, let's get started. Hello, Mammy. How are you? Okay, everyone, just put your name, your time zone, and let's get started. Something that comes out all the time. I've seen this happen in 28 years, and I've built 5 multi-million-dollar businesses. I hear this all the time. You talk to people who are not active anymore. So, why did you quit? And they would say, well, and we get that here all the time too. Say, well, my upline quit, so I don't know anything, so I quit. And that's really, like, it's if it wasn't happening too often, you'd think, it's just kind of true. And I can understand that answer because, see, when I got into MLM, I was 20 years old. My upline quit 3 months after. Quit. His upline quit 2-3 weeks after that. And the third guy above me, I didn't even know. So, but I didn't care. I got in, even though my upline who brought me in, he was a good friend of mine. I did not care because I didn't get in because of him. He introduced it to me, but I didn't get in for his reasons. I got for my reasons. I wanted to get out of my restaurant business. I had my own vision of having my mom becoming this diplomatic, and I had my own vision of the car's lifestyle I wanted. I didn't care that someone else, why they quit. So when my upline quit and his upline quit, I didn't care about that. I just kind of built my thing. It's not pleasant because you like that support, but if they're not going to support you, then if they're gone, they're gone. But I never once thought I should quit because they quit. So when I hear that, I'm like, well, how does that happen? Just because your upline is not active, then all of a sudden you're not active? No, it's unfortunate because it does happen, because things duplicate. So I always tell you, it's not the type of business they say, do as I say and don't do as I do, because people will do what you do most of the time. But if you are in this profession, you got to understand that you're doing this for your reason, your family reasons, your targets. It doesn't matter what your upline thinks. So if they move to a different company, if they just quit the industry, if they think this whole thing is a sham, it doesn't make a difference. You didn't get in for their reasons. You didn't get in because they wanted a Bentley or they wanted to support a charity, you got in for your reasons. For your reasons. So, in my first company, like I said, my sponsor quit in 3 months. His sponsor quit a few weeks after that, I was on my own. I didn't even know the guy above him till a year and a half later. In the other 3 companies I built multi-million-dollar business, I was the master of the shoe. I didn't even have an upline. So the point is that I didn't care because I was doing this for my reasons. So when somebody says I'm not active because my upline, he's not active anymore, she's not active anymore, Mike, I quit because my upline quit. And believe it or not, a lot of times, because we always ask the question, when somebody wants to not renew or get off their monthly shop, a smart buy, why are you doing that? Well, I'm not getting any support. That's what I'm not getting any support. And now that's somewhat more valid, but it really isn't. Why? Because in our business, especially in the MLM business, there's other uplines you can tap into. It's your job to find out who's within your My 5 and then meet them, put yourself on the map, get to know them, ask them for their stories, pick up the phone. My name is so-and-so. Can you tell me, I'm in your team. Can you tell me about you? Build that like and trust. So it doesn't make a difference. So instead of bailing out on your dreams because someone else bailed out on their dreams, have some street targets and work towards your targets. So this idea that I'm going to quit because people in my team, which is like really 4 people. It's like 80,000 people in the company, and like 4 people, which is your little circle, all of a sudden, just because they're inactive and not doing anything, all of a sudden, well, I guess no one's doing anything. You know how ridiculous is this? There was a young lady that left, and we had somebody that came here, and she's kind of surprised we're still open business, and then told Tanas, oh, I thought you guys were out of business. And we heard this now 5 or 6 times from people who've actually left. And it's like, what do you mean we're all in business? Well, because so-and-so that left has said that you guys are going out of business. Look, I just can't be nice towards. I was like, okay, so someone said a multi-million-dollar corporation has been around over a decade, they're out of business, and that person is quitting the business, and you believe that. Sometimes I wonder, what do people use their head other than a hat rack? It's ridiculous. So here we go again. What's funny about this, as an upline, you can tell somebody 20 times to do the right thing, and a lot of times they won't even listen. But if you say something negative, all of a sudden, sometimes people just take that information instead. So this idea that your actions and reactions have to be linked to your upline, it's ridiculous. If that's you, you need to revisit in forensic what we call your promise list. If that's you, that means you don't even have a promise list. Because if you had a promise list, you'd be looking at that every day as opposed to what your upline is doing. You'd be looking at that every day as opposed to what your upline doing or did. You need those set of target lists. You know how you do your annual checkup, right? You do annual checkup because you want to make sure everything is in order. Well, your promise list is your annual or weekly or daily checkup for what your life targets are. So you need, if you have your promise list, I can guarantee you don't care what your upline does. If you have your promise, I can guarantee you it doesn't matter how active they are. Because your targets and goals are going to be different than theirs. If they want to go at a certain pace, that's fine. It's good for them. You don't have to be at their pace. Just like everything else they're doing in their lifetime, you're not following that either. You're really living your life and they're living their life. So where does this come from? Well, let's put it this way. We become part of our environment. So this brings us to the end of the topic. We'll become part of our environment, right? If our environment is kind of, upbeat, excited, they're going, they're target-oriented, they're promise-list-oriented, they're achieving, next, well, guess what? That's what we're doing. If your environment is like, I'm not, busy, or I'm not doing anything, or whatever, most likely you could become part. You don't have to. Just like when my sponsor quit, I didn't quit. When his upline quit, I didn't quit. I stayed in because I had my very strong promise list. I didn't care. But most likely, if you don't have that, you become part of your environment. So how do you change that? Well, meet other uplines. Meet the people who are getting things done. Start with your very own promise list. The very first personal development seminar that I went to, very first, was in 1990 by a legend called Jim Rohn. Very first seminar, 2-day seminar. Wrote tons of notes. Don't remember much of it 28 years later now, but there's a few things I never forgot. One of the things he said, write down the list of the 10 closest people, associates that you talk to and hang with. So we wrote the 10 people. He said, right next to the name, what you think they made in income the previous year. So I wrote, well, Bob was a bellman. He probably makes $25,000 a year, whatever. So we wrote those, what we thought they were earning the previous year. And he said something that changed my world. He said, Ramin, but as he was talking to me, there was like 500 people in the room. He said, I can guarantee you your income is an average of their income. So I look at how much income on my top 10 list of closest associates. And I said to myself, Ramin, you need some new friends. Because I didn't want my income to be at that level. So that's what happens to you in MLM. You got a few people about your upline or whatever, they may quit because they don't have a promise list. They got it for the wrong reason. Whatever the case. Look, you can't have 8 billion entrepreneurs. You can't have 8 billion entrepreneurs. If we had 8 billion entrepreneurs, you and I wouldn't have an opportunity. The reason why why the 1.5% can make the six-figure income is because the other 98% leave it on the table for us to collect. So you could become like the 98% and quit or be inactive like they are. Or you could say, my circle are leaving their share on the table. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to collect that. Because we know 1% of the population control 96% of the money. And the only reason that 1% can do that is because the other 99% are leaving their share on the table. So this idea that I'm going to quit or I'm inactive because my upline is inactive or quit, ridiculous. If your upline decides to gain 250 pounds, are you going to do the same thing? Of course not. In other parts of your life, you don't follow the upline, yet in this business, you do. Now, if your upline is doing some amazing things, achieving things, then you want to follow that. That should inspire you, become a role model. But if your upline is doing everything that's not going to further your life, then why follow that? With that, that was our Forensic Live for today. Share it, talk about it. I'd love to hear your perspective on this topic. So if we could finish the call, type it anyways. I read every single one of your experiences and all of us can learn from that. And make sure every single one of you, when I hang up, you click share, put it on your page, and every single one of you should be on forensicnetworker.org. Drop your email so you get this stuff on email. You should be on a brand new YouTube channel. Subscribe on that because this stuff is end up on that. Let's build our forensic community globally. Until then, stay forensic.